Today, the white group is working on one-step equations. Here's the learning target and success criteria. We'll learn how to solve problems involving right triangles using Pythagorean theorem. And the success criteria is I can solve one-step equations, I can isolate the variable, and I can use inverse operations. The warm-up you guys are supposed to complete today, it says solve each expression and complete the number line. So you're given three expressions: 4 minus 3, 7 minus 9, and negative 6 minus 3. So you're going to simplify each of these expressions. So answer questions 1, 2, and 3 on your warm-up sheet or on a separate sheet of paper and staple it with your warm-up sheet. And then you're going to fill in the number line, and you guys will have to actually create your own number line in order to complete the warm-up. The vocabulary that you guys have for today, and please make sure that you copy these down in your notes, is inverse operations. So I gave you guys inverse operation definition last week on two-step equations, but I'm just reiterating that inverse operation is the operation that undo each other. Remember that the inverse of addition is subtraction, and the inverse of subtraction is addition. And then you can write down the examples that's given. So 4 plus 7 is equal to 11. So the inverse of addition is subtraction. And so we have x plus 7 minus x will give you just x. So they show the inverse of addition. So the inverse of adding 7 is subtracting 7. And over here it gets the inverse of subtracting 7 is adding 7. Over here on the right hand side, we have 6 times 3. They're showing you that the inverse of multiplication is division. And 18 divided by 3 gives you 6. And the inverse of division is multiplication. So 6 divided by 3 is equal to 2, and 2 times 3 is equal to 6. Okay. Here's the steps for solving one-step equations. First, you're going to identify the inverse operation to get the variable by itself. You're going to write the inverse operation. Step 2, you're going to get the variable by itself using inverse operations. So it's just 2 steps. And again, please make sure that you write these steps down in your notes. So here's 2 examples on the PowerPoint. Example 1, we have x minus 4 is equal to 13. The inverse operation so initially we started with subtraction. The inverse here will be addition. So to get rid of this 4, they added 4 on both sides. And then from here, you're just simplifying. So we get x is equal to 17. Here's another example. Example 2, we have negative 6x is equal to 36. Right now, we have negative 6 times x. So the original operation is multiplication. Our inverse operation is division. So they divided by negative 6 on both sides. And so they get x is equal to negative 6 as their final answer. Now, again, if you're going through just the PowerPoint, in order for you to get the solution to the teacher do slides, please watch the video, which I am recording now. Now we have several examples that I will do. So I can model and mimic what it is that you guys are supposed to do. And again, if you are completing the work online, you guys can click the draw tab, and here you can click the pen, and you'll be able to write directly on the screen using your finger. Hopefully in the future we'll get stylus to give out. All right, so the first example I have is m plus 4 is equal to negative 12. Remember, step 1 says that I'm going to identify what the inverse operation is. So right now I'm looking at addition. So my inverse will be to subtract. Okay, so I identified what my inverse is. And from here, I now need to just show my work. So m plus 4 is equal to a negative 12. I'm going to subtract 4 on both sides. Okay. My positive 4 and negative 4 cancels out, guys. And so in this case, I'm left with just m is equal to a negative 16. And if you are unsure what your answer is, you guys can go to desmos.com. Again, in the web browser, you would type in desmos.com. It will take you straight to the website. Under math tools, you'll click the drop down and then you guys will just click where it says scientific calculator if you need a calculator. So again, if you wasn't sure what the solution is here, you could do -12 minus 4 on the calculator. It will give you your answer, which is -16. Okay, the next example we have is x minus 7 is equal to 13. So first, I'm going to identify my inverse operation. So right now, I'm looking at, I can switch the color. Right now, I'm looking at subtraction. And so my inverse here will be addition. I know that I need to add. Okay. And then I just need to now show my work. So I got x minus 7 is equal to 13. So again, I want to get x by itself. My inverse is to add 7 on both sides. -7 plus 7 cancel out. And so I got 13 plus 7. So I'm just combining like terms or combining my constants. And so my answer in this case is going to give me 20. So on the first one, I get m is equal to -16. And then in the next example, I got x is equal to 20. Again, this is a good time to pause the video and copy down the solutions in your notes. Okay. Let me clear the screen. All right, then I have one more set of examples that I'm going to do with you guys, and then we're moving on to the classwork. We have -6 is equal to b over 18. So the very first thing, again, I'm going to do is identify what my inverse will be. So right now, looking at this fraction, I know that I'm looking at division, okay? And the inverse of division is multiplication. So I know that for a fact my inverse will have to be that I need to multiply. So -6, I'm going to rewrite the problem. -6 is equal to b over 18. And then I'm going to solve for b. So again, I know that I have division. I know my inverse operation is multiplication. So I'm going to multiply by 18 on both sides. Again, please make sure that you copy this down in your notes. So now I know that top to bottom my fractions cancel. Remember, any fraction can be anything written over 1. So 18 over 1. So I'll just get b times 1. And then 18 top bottom cancel. Now I'm multiplying 18 times a -6. Again, if I don't know the answer, I'm already on Desmos calculator. I'm going to hit the enter button, or you can hit the blue button to enter. And I'm going to go ahead and multiply 18 and -6. And it gives me 108. So in this example, b is equal to -108. And don't forget about the negative sign here, guys. So we're done with that example. We have one more problem that I am modeling with you guys, and that is 10n is equal to 40. So again, first I'm going to identify my inverse operation. So remember that anytime I see a variable and a number attached to each other, that's understood multiplication. Okay. So the inverse of multiplication means that I know on this problem, I'm going to divide, or I have to use division. Okay. So I identify my inverse, which is step 1. And then step 2 is to just show your work and multiply by the inverse operation, or solve for them using the inverse operation. So we get 10n is equal to 40. Again, I know I need to divide. So I want to get n by itself. I'm going to divide both of these by 10. Remember that 10 divided by 10 will cancel, leave with just 1. So I'm bringing the n down. And then 40 divided by 10 is going to simplify and give me just 4. And remember that the zeros will cancel here. So it really just got 4 divided by 1. All right. So these are the last two examples on the teacher do slides. Again, this is a good time to pause the video and copy these down in your notes. All right. So the classwork, you guys are given a one-step equation on integers. It should look like this. And this is just me zooming out on the assignment. but I'm handing this out. And again, if you're doing the work online, we'll be able to complete it on these slides coming up. So the instructions are: you're given 10 problems. On the left hand side of the paper, and again, this is just if you're doing a paper assignment, you'll need to write what the inverse operation is to solve for the variable. So on the left side, all you're doing is writing what the inverse is to solve. Okay. On the right side of the paper, you will solve each equation. I've already given you the answers, so you just need to show your work. Okay. If you are completing this work, completing this assignment online, then the rest of the slides are classwork, and you can use the draw tab to write directly on the slides. And again, when I say that, if you click at the top where it say draw, you have pins. You can click on the pin options, doesn't matter, and you can instantly start writing on each slide if you are completing this online. Okay. So again, if you're completing it online, I'm merged them all into one step instead of you guys doing two separate ones. So here you would just do write what the inverse is and then show your work. Again, I already give you the answers. You guys will complete all 10 of those. Once you complete all 10 of these one-step equations, you're going to move on to complete the one-step equation maze. If I have not given you a copy of the maze, then just let me know and I'll go ahead and distribute it at this time. Here's the instructions for the maze. When you finish with the first page, which again, all you did on the left side was write the inverse. On the right side, you showed your work to solve. You're going to go ahead and work on a one-step equation maze. And the maze should look like this. So again, if I haven't given you the assignment, just let me know during class time. And if you're completing the work online, then you can just literally complete the maze through this PowerPoint slide. So please remember that even if you are starting at the beginning and you're trying to get all the way to the finish line, please remember that you need to show your work on a separate sheet of paper and submit it. So if you are doing it on paper, you're going to actually pretty much almost solve each of these equations and to figure out what direction to go. And if you're doing it online, you can still show your work either by adding new slides or you can literally complete it on a separate sheet of paper. Once you guys have completed the maze as well as the first classwork on one-step equations and there's still class time left, then please make sure that you work on your delta math. Make sure that you have integers 1, 2, and 3 completed. I know a lot of you guys were not able to finish integers 3 on Friday, so please make sure that you work on that if you still have class time during the end of class. And then finally, once you're done with all that, you guys have completed the lesson. Overall, great job. If you have any additional questions, please feel free to either send me a message on Verge, send me an email, or you can ask me during class time. Have a great day.